in the Sultanate amounted to 9 cases only, while the total number is 51 patients. The death cases yesterday was only 1, bringing the total number of deaths to 1,509 since the start of the pandemic. His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Khamis Ambu Saidi, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Education for Education, said that normal back to school by using direct education will be conducted based on assessment of epidemiological situation in the Sultanate. He stressed that importance of the return of all students as per gradual phases and mechanisms put by the ministry. He said that blended education was one of the ministry's achievements during the pandemic, and this will be preserved and developed. Dr. Amal bin Saif Al-Ma'niya, Director of Central Department of Infection Prevention and Control, Ministry of Health, said that the mutations in coronavirus is less than influenza, adding that the new mutation did not change the severity of the virus. But she also said that the worrying fact that this new variant has high spread rate and the health systems might be overwhelmed by rapid rising cases. Still to come in our news bulletin. The first central graduation ceremony for Omani student societies in Australia and New Zealand is held in the Governorate of Muscat. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology opened the internal Yanqul Dual Carriage Road project. The road is about 5 kilometers long, which starts from Al-Uqda roundabout and ends near the intersection of Yanqul Hospital at the center of the Wilaya, and it is also considered as a completion for the Ibri-Yanqul Road. The project includes establishment of 3 roundabouts at the center of the Wilaya of Yanqul, and it includes all traffic safety regulations such as guardrails, traffic road lines, signposts, culverts at wadis, crossings, in addition to 120 street light poles along the road. The road is considered one of the vital roads that will activate economic and touristic aspects and increase social contact among peoples of the Governorate of Al-Dhahira. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources signed an agreement to provide logistical and technical support to construct greenhouses in Jama Farm in the Wilaya of Rostaq. As per the agreement, the ministry will provide Amana asset management with data to execute the project by introducing modern technologies to build 300 greenhouses to produce 3,000 tons of the most commonly consumed vegetables in 205,000 square meter land, in addition to the construction of a solar farm. The project aims at converting endowed agricultural lands to producing farms in line with food security strategy and development of governorates as per Oman Vision 2040. In a statement to Oman TV and Radio, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Nasser Al-Bakri, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources for Agriculture, said that the project came in partnership with private institutions to attract endowed agricultural lands at the governorate level. He also stated that the project will adopt latest technologies to grow most important agriculture producers in terms of economic returns. He concluded his statement by saying that the project will contribute towards food security efforts in the country, water rationalization, and hopes that the project will create more job opportunities. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Saeed Al-Ma'mari, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs, stated that the project came as part of the ministry's care for the management of endowed lands and in partnership with a variety of sectors for the country's development in line with Oman Vision 2040 objectives that aim at promoting, investing and increasing the value of endowed lands. Oman Real Estate Investment Trust Fund will release on Sunday 261 million units for initial public offering with a value of 26 million Omani riyals. The offering will remain open for subscription at the end of the month. The initial offering includes distribution of dividends that exceed 7% on an annual basis. The fund is supported by the Ministry of Defense Pension Fund by 45%. Oman Real Estate Investment Trust Fund has an estimated capital of 65 million Omani riyals and plans to register in the Muscat Stock Exchange by mid-February 2021. The IPO offers an opportunity for local and international investors to engage and profit from one of the largest real estate investment trust portfolios. The first central graduation ceremony for Omani student societies in Australia and New Zealand was held in the Governorate of Muscat. More details in the following report.
After spending around 5 years abroad, studying various disciplines, the time has come to reap the harvest. Hence, a ceremony was held for the Omani students who graduated from around 32 universities in Australia and New Zealand.
I studied mechanical engineering and I have gained a lot of valuable skills and a lot of valuable lessons that I've gained from my experience in Australia. It will definitely help me on achieving better in my career and making an impact in my own country. It's a really happy and honorable moment for me, especially I get to celebrate it with my friends and family here in Oman, because I wouldn't get this chance if I was back in Australia. So it's a really happy moment for me.
It was a really great experience studying my major. It's a combination of engineering and medical sciences as well, so it really grabbed my attention. And I learned a lot of technical skills and clinical skills in dealing with patients and manufacturing prosthetic limbs and orthoses, which help people gain mobility and make their lives easier. I've also learned a lot about this disability culture in Australia, and I would like to implement a lot of what I learned there in the Omani society and help them improve as well. I feel very happy, I'm finally here. Because of COVID, my graduation got delayed a lot, so I wasn't able to do it in Australia. So just to have this opportunity and being able to do it here in Oman and in the presence of my family, I really appreciate it.
109 graduates were honored at the event. They expressed their excitement about reaching the stage and gaining valuable experience and knowledge.
It was absolutely a great experience there. So I studied sociology and psychology. So I gained a lot of, great insights in some social issues. And in Australia, being alone there, you learn how to be, self-independent. I'm real pleased, to be here. We missed that ceremony in Australia. We were just attending online, and we were really sad, and our families also were sad. But here we are celebrating here in our country and with all our families and friends. So yeah, I'm really thankful.
We studied mostly petroleum engineering related topics. It has been a really let's say difficult period of our lives because we studied in one of the top universities in the world, thanks to the government of Oman and the Council General. It has been really a rewarding experience.
On the sideline of the ceremony, an exhibition was held showcasing graduates' research projects and the initiatives and activities of various student societies abroad. A new journey begins as these cheerful graduates hold their heads high on this occasion. Their families, the community, and the whole nation are proud to see their hard work leads to this great accomplishment. Salih bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Voters queued to cast their ballots in Uganda's presidential election today following a run-up tainted by widespread violence that some fear could escalate as security forces try to stop supporters of leading opposition challenger Bobi Wine from monitoring polling stations. In the election, Wine, a popular young singer turned opposition lawmaker, and 9 other challengers are challenging incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, an authoritarian who has wielded power since 1986 and is seeking a 6th term. Wine, whose real name is Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, has seen many associates jailed or go into hiding as security forces crack down on opposition supporters they fear could mount a street uprising leading to regime change. He insists he is only running a non-violent campaign. The vote count will begin when polls close at 4 p.m. and results are expected within 48 hours. More than 17 million people have registered to vote, and a candidate must win more than 50% to avoid runoff. An aerial search for victims and wreckage from a crashed Indonesian plane expanded today as divers continued combing the debris-littered seabed looking for the cockpit voice recorder from the lost Srinawaya air jet. The Boeing 737-500 disappeared Saturday, minutes after taking off from Jakarta with 62 people aboard. The other black box containing flight data was recovered Tuesday, and search personnel have also recovered plane parts and human remains from the Java Sea. Navy officials have said the 2 black boxes were buried in seabed mud under tons of wreckage between Lansang and Laki Islands in the 1,000-island chain north of Jakarta. At least 268 divers were deployed today, almost double the previous figure. Rescuers increased to 4,100 personnel supported by 13 helicopters, 55 ships and 18 raft boats. So far, searchers have sent 141 body bags containing human remains to police identification experts. Yesterday, 6 victims were identified, including a flight attendant and an off-duty pilot. Some local pharmacies across England started vaccinating vulnerable people today as the UK government aims to administer the COVID-19 vaccine on 15 million high-risk people by mid-February. Derek Mersch, 82 years old, was the first person to receive the AstraZeneca vaccine in his local pharmacy in Guildford. People eligible to receive the first vaccine dose were contacted by the National Health Service and were given the option to go to a local surgery or visit a pharmacy. The push to inoculate millions quickly comes as a more contagious variant of COVID-19 is sweeping across Britain and driving hospitals to their breaking points. The UK is already using the COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer and AstraZeneca and has approved one made by Moderna, but that one is not expected to be delivered until spring. More than 15,000 National Guard members have been activated to provide security during the inauguration of U.S. President-elect Joe Biden in Washington, D.C. on January 20th. More may be called. In Inauguration Day, more than 20,000 National Guardsmen could be active in the District of Columbia. Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton, a former Marine who now represents a district in Massachusetts, said the large number of troops following the attack on the Capitol last week are here to defend us against the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, and his mob. Republican Congressman Lauren Boebert said Democrats are ignoring their own violent rhetoric, including words that have been directed at President Trump. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sends a cable of condolences to the custodian of the 2 holy mosques on the death of His Highness Prince Khalid bin Abdurrahman bin Abdullah Al Saud. The Ministry of Health stresses that the history of the Sultanate in vaccine management is internationally recognized. And the Ministry of Education emphasizes that normal back to school is based on assessment of epidemiological situation in the Sultanate. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.